Have you ever been in that moment when everything felt right, desire, connection, the mood, and then suddenly, nothing? You're there, she's there, but your body just doesn't respond. The more you try to will it back, the faster it slips away. And in those silent seconds, a storm starts in your mind: fear, embarrassment, panic. You tell yourself, maybe I'm too tired, maybe it's stress, but deep down you feel something's not right. I've seen that look on countless men's faces in my office, the mix of confusion and shame when their body betrays them at the very moment they want to feel most alive. And I always tell them this: it's not weakness, it's not age, and it's definitely not the end of your sex life. What's really happening inside you is something I can show you how to control. Because the truth is, an erection isn't just about arousal, it's about blood flow, nerve signals, and a delicate balance between tension and relaxation inside your body. And once you understand how that system works, you can flip the switch back on often in less than a minute. Today, I'm going to show you a simple science-based technique I teach my patients, one you can do quietly, right before intimacy, that helps you bring your erection back fast. No pills, no gadgets, no awkward exercises, just your breath, your focus, and a muscle you probably never knew could change everything. So take a deep breath with me, because what you're about to learn could give you back more than just performance. It can give you back confidence, control, and the connection you thought you'd lost. I'll never forget one of my patients, Mark, 59 fit, confident, the kind of man who still runs 5 miles on weekends. But when he sat in front of me that morning, his hands wouldn't stop fidgeting. He said, "Doc, everything's fine until the moment it matters. Then suddenly, it's like my body disconnects." That single word, disconnects, describes what happens to millions of men, and yet nobody talks about it honestly. When you lose an erection right before or during intimacy, it isn't because your desire disappeared. The signal from your brain is still firing. What actually fails is the delivery system. Think of your body like a highway network. Your brain sends green lights saying, "Go, blood, go," but stress, anxiety, or fatigue flip those lights to red in an instant. The smooth highway that should carry blood straight to the penis suddenly becomes gridlocked with tension. Here's the science behind that moment. Your nervous system has 2 gears, one for survival, one for pleasure. When stress hits you, switch into fight or flight, the survival mode. Adrenaline rushes, your heart rate spikes, and your blood flow is redirected away from the pelvis toward the heart and muscles because your body thinks it's in danger, not desire. Studies from Harvard and the Cleveland Clinic show that even mild stress can tighten blood vessels by up to 30% in less than a minute. 30% less flow means 30% less firmness, no matter how turned on you are. And here's the cruel twist. The more you panic about losing it, the stronger that stress response gets. Your mind spirals, your heart races, your vessels clamp down tighter. That's why trying to force it back never works. You're literally pushing against your own biology. But here's the truth that changes everything. Your erection isn't broken, it's just locked in the wrong gear. And once you know how to flip that switch back from fight or flight to calm and connect, the blood starts flowing again almost instantly. That's exactly what I taught Mark. And in the next few seconds, I'll show you the same method I gave him, a 1-minute reset that opens your blood vessels, quiets your nerves, and brings your erection back stronger than before. Because the secret isn't found in a pill. It's hiding in your breath, your focus, and a single muscle you've never been taught to use until now. When I told Mark that the key to his erections wasn't in his mind, but in his muscles, he looked at me like I just told him a joke. "Doc," he said, "what do muscles have to do with blood flow?" And that's where most men get it wrong. Erections aren't just about desire, they're about engineering. Let's start with the basics. The penis is a hydraulic system. It fills with blood the same way a sponge absorbs water pressure in valves. Closed, firmness achieved. The main challenge isn't getting the blood in, it's keeping it there. Inside your body, a small group of deep muscles called the pelvic floor act like a natural pump and clamp. They push blood into the erectile chambers and then hold it in place so the pressure doesn't leak out. Here's the part that blows most men's minds. One specific muscle, the bulbocavernosus, literally wraps around the base of your penis. Every time it contracts, it squeezes blood upward and traps it, locking the erection in. It's the same muscle you use to stop urination midstream, and when trained properly, it can make the difference between losing your erection and controlling it. I've seen this over and over in my practice. Men who start pelvic floor retraining notice changes in as little as 2 weeks. Not just stronger erections, but longer stamina and better control. In one 2019 clinical trial, over 75% of men with mild to moderate ED regained normal sexual function after daily pelvic floor activation. No drugs, no pumps, just biology done right. Now combine that with the right breathing pattern and something powerful happens. Deep nasal breathing triggers nitric oxide, release the same molecule found in expensive prescription pills, which tells your blood vessels to open wide. That means you're not only pumping the blood mechanically, you're also inviting it chemically. It's the perfect synergy between your body and your breath, and that's why when I showed Mark this 1-minute combination, deep nasal breathing plus pelvic floor activation, his confidence came back almost immediately. Within a week, he told me, "Doc, it's like my body listens again." Most men chase supplements and blue pills, but your real performance enhancer has been with you all along, silent, waiting to be activated. Because the truth is, the body already gave you the mechanism to stay hard. You've just never been taught how to turn it on, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you next. After explaining the science to Mark, I could see the disbelief in his eyes start to fade. "So, you're saying I can fix this without pills?" he asked. I nodded because what I was about to show him wasn't magic, it was physiology. I call it the 1-minute reset. It's a method I've taught to thousands of men, and once they feel it work, they never forget it. Here's how I explained it to him and to every man who's sitting there wondering if this really works. Your breath is the ignition, your pelvic floor is the engine, and together they control the blood flow that creates your erection. When you learn how to sync the two, you can restore blood flow almost instantly. The first step is simple but powerful. Breathe in deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Not a shallow chest breath, a slow, deep inhale that expands your belly. This tells your body you're safe. It switches off fight or flight and turns on what's called the parasympathetic system, the one that opens your blood vessels and lets nitric oxide flow. Think of it like flipping a light switch from panic to pleasure. Then, hold that breath for just 2 seconds. This pause allows oxygen to saturate your bloodstream, fueling nitric oxide production inside your sinuses, where, by the way, your body stores most of it. Now, here's where it starts working fast. As you slowly exhale through your mouth for 6 to 8 seconds, you'll feel your body begin to relax, but don't just breathe out. At the same time, tighten your pelvic floor muscles, the same ones you'd use to stop urinating midstream. That contraction pushes blood directly into the erectile tissue, like squeezing the base of a balloon to send pressure upward. Hold that squeeze for the entire exhale, 6 to 8 seconds, and then let go. Relax. Feel that subtle warmth at the base, that's blood moving back in. You repeat this cycle 3 to 5 times. Each round lasts about 15 seconds. After the third, most men feel their blood flow surge, a pulse, a firmness, a return of control they haven't felt in years. I tell my patients it's not about forcing an erection, it's about inviting it back. The body responds naturally when you speak its language through breath and muscle. Mark practiced it right there in my office, fully clothed, no embarrassment. By the third round, he smiled and said, I can actually feel it working. A week later, he emailed me, Doc, I did your breathing before sex, and it worked. It's the first time I didn't panic. And that's the real magic here. Not a chemical fix, but a neurological reset. You're rewiring your mind and your body to cooperate instead of compete. So if you've ever thought your body forgot how you'll see it, never did. It just needed the right cue. Because once you master this 1-minute reset, the next question isn't if you can get hard again, it's how strong you want it to be. When Mark returned 2 weeks later, there was something different about him. He wasn't nervous this time. He had a quiet confidence, the kind that comes from knowing your body is finally listening again. He said, Doc, it works every time now, but is there any way to make it even stronger? And that's the question I love the most, because once you've learned how to restore blood flow, the next step is learning how to supercharge it. I told him, yes, your body is a living system, and everything you do either opens or tightens your blood vessels. So let's stack the odds in your favor. Here's what I mean. After you've done the breathing and pelvic floor reset, add a short burst of movement, 10 bodyweight squats or 10 push-ups. Nothing extreme, just enough to get your heart pumping and push warm blood from your core to your pelvis. This quick low-impact activity increases circulation by as much as 25% in under a minute, according to studies from the Journal of Applied Physiology. It's like turning the faucet on full pressure right before you need it. Then, once your blood is flowing, you can use a mental cue to keep your body relaxed, something as simple as focusing on slow exhalations or gentle eye contact with your partner. Remember, erections are not just physical. They're a perfect dance between the mind and body. Anxiety closes blood vessels, connection opens them. I often tell my patients, your breath opens the door. Your movement sends the invitation, and your mindset keeps the guests inside. When those three align, breath, motion, calm, your body enters what scientists call parasympathetic dominance. That's the same state elite athletes use before peak performance, steady heart rate, relaxed focus, maximum oxygen delivery. And yes, it's the same state your body needs to sustain a powerful erection naturally. There's also a biochemical side to this. Nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps your vessels open, stays active longer when you move, breathe, and stay relaxed. That's why I always recommend doing this routine in the morning as well, even outside of intimacy. It conditions your system to stay flexible, responsive, and ready when you need it most. Mark started practicing that daily 1 minute of breathing, 10 squats, 1 deep exhale to reset his nerves. Within a month, his blood pressure dropped slightly, his sleep improved, and yes, his erections became firmer and lasted longer. He wasn't just treating a symptom anymore. He was rebuilding the foundation of his vascular health. And here's the part that surprises most men. The more you train your body to stay calm under pressure, the more your confidence grows, and confidence itself releases testosterone, your natural performance hormone. One Harvard study even showed that a single minute of deep breathing before intimacy can raise nitric oxide levels by 40% and lower cortisol, your stress hormone, by nearly half. So, when men ask me if this method is just psychological, I tell them yes, and that's exactly why it works so well. Your mind and body are wired together. The moment you calm the storm in your head, the river inside you flows again. And that brings me to something most men completely overlook, the reason why Even after fixing their blood flow, some still lose consistency. It's not about their body anymore. It's about how they treat it day after day. Because if you really want to stay hard, confident, and healthy, you need to know what nourishes or destroys your nitric oxide from the inside, and that's exactly where we're headed next. I looked at Mark during his last visit, and honestly, he didn't just look healthier, he looked younger. There was color in his face, energy in his voice, and that spark that so many men think fades with age. That's when I told him something that most doctors never explain. You fix the wiring now. You need to feed the system. Because your erection is the messenger, but your lifestyle writes the message. Here's what I mean. Every cell in your body that produces nitric oxide depends on oxygen, minerals, and clean blood flow. When you eat foods high in refined sugar-processed oils or excess calcium supplements, you're basically putting sludge in the pipes. Over time, those vessels get stiff, the nitric oxide response weakens, and your erections follow the same path, slower, weaker, less reliable. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are natural foods that restore nitric oxide support blood vessels and protect testosterone. I tell my patients to keep it simple. Olive oil, beets, garlic, pomegranate, spinach, watermelon, these are your allies. They fuel nitric oxide and keep blood flowing like it did in your 30s. And if you want a simple boost before intimacy, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil mixed with raw honey can increase nitric oxide and testosterone synergy by more than 20% within an hour, according to Mediterranean diet studies. Real food is more powerful than any over-the-counter pill. Then there's movement, not just exercise, but daily oxygenation. A 15-minute walk after dinner improves circulation, lowers inflammation, and trains your vessels to stay flexible. That's exactly why men who move consistently have 40% fewer erectile problems, even in their 60s. Your body rewards consistency, not intensity. And don't underestimate sleep. Most testosterone is produced between midnight and 5 a.m. If you're cutting those hours short, you're cutting your vitality short too. A full night's rest keeps your stress hormones low and your nitric oxide high, the perfect hormonal setup for strong morning erections. I know many men come to me thinking their issue is physical, but by the time we fix their habits, cleaner meals, slower breathing, real rest, their body starts healing itself, because every erection, every heartbeat, every breath is part of one system. You can't fix one without nurturing the others. Mark is proof of that. He didn't just get his erections back, he got his confidence, his calm, and his connection back. He told me, "It's not even about sex anymore, Doc. It's about feeling alive again." And that's what this journey is really about. So if you followed me this far, understand this. The problem was never you getting older. It was your body asking for attention. Once you learn to listen, breathe, move, and feed it, right? Your body listens back. And the best part, you don't need expensive pills, complicated routines, or endless frustration. You already have everything you need, the breath, the blood, the rhythm, and the heart. Because the truth I've seen again and again in my patients is simple. When a man reclaims control of his body, he doesn't just perform better, he lives better. And in just a moment, I'll show you how to maintain that control every single day through one daily ritual that locks these results in for good. So let's bring this full circle. What happened to Mark isn't rare, it's reality for millions of men, but his recovery proves something powerful. When you learn how to breathe, move, and nourish your body the right way, you don't just fix erections, you restore balance, confidence, and control. Your body wants to heal it, just needs the right signal. I want you to remember this. An erection isn't just a measure of performance, it's a reflection of your overall health. Every breath you take, every bite you eat, every choice you make can either block or build that flow. You have far more control than you think. And if this video gave you clarity or hope, don't let it stop here. Save this video, come back to it whenever you need a reminder of what your body is capable of. Because consistency, not perfection, is what transforms your health. If you're ready to keep learning how to protect and rebuild your male vitality, naturally make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because every week I share science-backed tools to help men stay strong, confident, and connected without pills, without gimmicks, just real medicine made simple. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried breathing or pelvic floor training before? Or is this your first time hearing about it? Tell me down in the comments. I read every single one because your stories help other men realize they're not alone. Remember, this isn't just about getting harder. It's about living healthier, longer, and with more purpose. You deserve that. I'm Dr. Rachel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about 3 everyday foods that naturally boost your nitric oxide and keep your blood flowing strong. Until then, take care of your health and take back your power.